Hello everybody, thank you very much for tuning in for this epic battle of the beers, the unfiltered beers. Two sort of big boys that are available, pretty ready available over here in the UK. Firstly, we have Stella Artois Unfiltered. It is a 5% Belgium lager, but it is of course brewed in the UK. Let's have a look at your bottle. Bottle cap. And we'll be going up against it will be STAROPRAMEN Unfiltered, the Czech unfiltered STAROPRAMEN. I think it's brewed in the Czech Republic. I'm not too sure actually about this one. Perhaps it's not. Little look at your bottle cap. I've reviewed both these beers on my channel if you want a more in-depth review. I can't remember what I gave them or anything. You know, today's another day. I'm just going to go by who takes it on the day for me, what one I'm preferring today, sort of thing. STAROPRAMEN, lovely looking bottle. You can see the yeast stuck to the bottom on this one. If I remember rightly, when I reviewed STAROPRAMEN Unfiltered, it reminded me a little bit of a wheat beer. Be interesting to see if I still get them vibes today, because I've been drinking a lot of wheat beer lately, so perhaps it won't remind me so much of one, I'm not sure. Going with the Stella first. Straight away, as soon as I open that, skunky, very skunky. They're both in green bottles. You know, not the best idea, is it? But I do find with this Stella Unfiltered, I have drunk a fair amount of it from both bottle and can. I personally prefer it in a can, but you know, I just done both bottles to be equal. But I think you don't get that skunkiness from the can, personally. There we go, she's in the glass. Now let's get the STAROPRAMEN in the glass. I don't have an unfiltered Stella glass, so I just had to go for the normal Stella glass, as you can see there. And I don't have an unfiltered STAROPRAMEN glass, I just have the normal one, so that's fair again, isn't it? Even the appearance reminded me of a wheat beer last time with this one. Let's see. Well, they both look like rather nice beers. The Czech STAROPRAMEN, or whether it's brewed in Czech or not, definitely looks more unfiltered. That's a proper unfiltered beer, look at that. Compared to your Stella. The Stella just looks, it still looks filtered to me. It just looks perhaps less filtered. That is proper filtered. Look at that lovely hazy kind of golden orange colour. Brilliant white foamy head. I mean, there's a clear winner on the looks department for me as far as what an unfiltered lager should look like. I'm going to go with a STAROPRAMEN all day long. Very easy, that one. The Stella does have a slight haze to it. It doesn't look the same as your normal Stella, but if it's unfiltered, it should definitely look more cloudy than that for me. So yeah, I think it's just slightly unfiltered. Right, let's check out the aromas of these two beers, but I've definitely given the look, like just on appearance, not that that really matters, it's what it tastes like really, isn't it? But I think the STAROPRAMEN Unfiltered is definitely more pleasing to the eye for me. Let me know in the comments if you agree with that or not. This is just my opinions. Right, Stella. Quite a grassy smelling lager. The skunk's gone through a bit as well. But I don't get that so much out of a can. I do think this is a better beer out of a can, I'll say it again, but for me it's a clear difference. You know, it smells well hopped. It definitely smells better than your normal standard Stella, your 4.6, you know, UK brewed standard Stella. The unfiltered one smells like it's got a bit more about it. A bit more balls about it, that's for sure. Right, let's get the nose in there with the STAROPRAMEN Unfiltered. Smells a little bit herby, this one. Like coriander. Spicy. Citrusy. Similar aroma to a wheat beer. Not massively though. But I can't remember whether it's just a taste last time. But appearance wise, it does look similar to a Weiss beer, doesn't it? Or wheat beer. There is spice in there, but I'm not sure if it's clove or not. Interesting. Aroma wise, I'm going to say they're about equal really. it's a shame about the slight skunkiness to the Stella, but I know it's not like that out of a can, so I'm going to call that one a draw, I think, aroma-wise. It just keeps growing on the STAROPRAMEN. Right, let's go in for the all-important taste test. That's what really matters. That's your bread and butter. That's who is really going to decide who wins this battle of the unfiltered beers in the UK. Right, cheers everybody. I'm going in. Bosh. That's a decent lager for me. I used to love the normal Stella until they messed about with it one too many times for me. Now where it is at 4.6%, I think it's actually a below average lager. They've just completely grabbed their hand in that beer and torn the rectum and heart and soul from without of the Stella. This somewhat reminds me of what Stella used to be like. It's got a bit more balls about it. It's got a bit more sort of flavour to it. You know, it's just so watered down and rubbish now. So generic tasting now. This has got that slightly sort of old Stella aftertaste that I remember from back in the day when it used to be 5% or even stronger than that a while back. Nice biscuity malt backbone. Plenty of hops in here. Sort of grassy, earthy hops. It's a decent lager. It's better for me. This is one of the better UK brewed lagers. Of course, it's not going to be as good as the Belgian version, but just comparing it to the crap we get brewed over here, Stella Unfiltered is one of the better ones for me. It's quite dry in. Got a decent bitterness on the end. A little bit of something about it, this one. Unlike the other Stella. Subtle bit of spice as well. Really quite subtle. It's rather sort of Pilsner-like finish to it. That sort of dry, spiciness and then a bitterness. It's definitely reminded me a little bit of a Pilsner, for sure. I'd say that's alright. Before I've tried this one, I'd say that's a sort of 8 out of 10 lager for me, Stella Unfiltered. Definitely a couple of marks higher than the normal Stella. Anyway, this isn't versus the normal Stella. This is against the STAROPRAMEN Unfiltered. So let's see how they match up and see what one I prefer. And do let me know, guys, which one of these beers you prefer. If you've tried them both in the comments, you ain't got to agree with me. I'm just one person. The more different opinions we got there in the comments, people can have a read of these comments and they can sort of see, you know, which most people would go for, you know, because everybody is different. Go with the majority, that's what I say. Cheers, everybody. Bosh. Completely different tasting to the Stella. This one's got a bit more of a quality sort of feel about it. It just oozes quality, a bit like the look of it. It's just, you feel like a bit more care's taken in this. It's like it's a bit less mass produced, perhaps. The mouthfeel is definitely better than the Stella. It's just really nice and smooth and it's silky. It just glides down really nicely, actually. It does have that kind of wheat beerish kind of mouthfeel to it. Pardon me. Quite malty, sort of like sweet, bready, malty backbone to it. I do really like this beer, but I must admit, I remember when I reviewed it, I am a little bit disappointed with it, because I really like the normal STAROPRAMEN. I really like Czech lagers. I'm a bit of a Czech lager whore, to be honest with you. They're one of my favourites, actually. Probably apart from Germany, they're my favourite lagers. Quite wheaty. You can tell they've used wheat in this beer just by the appearance of it. And you can taste it as well. The reason I was disappointed with this is it's not because I'm saying it's an awful beer, because it's not. It's actually a very decent beer. It feels like a mixture of a lager, and a Weiss beer or wheat beer, whatever you want to call it to me. And for me, there's better lagers and there's better Weiss beers. You know, this is kind of a blend of both, which is nice in its own way. But if I just want the best lager, I'm not going to go for this. I'm going to go for like a Pilsner Quell, or perhaps Budvar, even the normal STAROPRAMEN if you get the Czech version. And if I'm going to go for a wheat beer, I'm going to go for your Franziskaner, you know, Weihenstephaner, Paulaner, something like that. It's not going to compete with that. So it's kind of a difficult place for me with this one. Like, I find it hard to have a reason to buy this beer. Because if I fancied a lager, I probably wouldn't go for this. It's the same as if I fancied a wheat beer, I probably wouldn't go for it. But nevertheless, it is a good quality, well-made beer. But I hope you understand what I'm trying to say there, guys. Somewhat herbal sort of finish. With some like spice and coriander. I mean, the quality, this beer's definitely got the quality. More quality feel about it than the Stella. It's very refreshing. It's very easy drinking. Stella's got a little bit more knackers about it though. It's got a bit of a nice bitterness on it and a bit more of a rough and ready sort of vibe about it for me, this Stella. So yeah, I don't know. It's difficult. Like trying that one, I'd probably go for around an 8 again. But I'm not going to sit on the fence. I'm going to try them again and just, you know, if I had another 2 bottles of these in the fridge and I had to pick one of these to session on, I'm going to go like that. What one would I choose? Right, I'm going to try them again now. Great lacing on the glass with a Stella. No, it's a good quality beer. STAROPRAMEN again. Great lacing on the glass. That they're close. For me, they shouldn't be this close. This should be the clear winner. STAROPRAMEN should be the clear winner. Unfiltered, you know. I think I would go with a Stella. You know, that surprised me. If I'm honest, I thought going into this I was going to pick the STAROPRAMEN. I think if I was to review them separately again today, I'd probably give a higher mark to the STAROPRAMEN. But just drinking them in front of me, trying one and then trying the other, if I had to have another beer after, I'd go for the Stella, personally. Stella Unfiltered. Not everybody's going to agree with that. It's perhaps slightly controversial, but for me, it's just got more flavour. It's got a nice bitterness on the end. It's got a bit more balls about it, more hops. Even though, like I say, the STAROPRAMEN, you can tell the quality is there, but it's a little bit boring. It's a little bit caught in between wheat beer and a lager for me. And as I explained to you before, I'd rather have a proper lager or a proper wheat beer than what this is. But nevertheless, it is quite nice. Perhaps some people that are trying to make the sort of transition over from lager into getting to wheat beers, this could be your perfect kind of beer to sort of make that transition. You could have a few of these and then you won't be so scared when you finally go over to the wheat beer, you know, and try a proper one. So I've got to adjust my mark. So I'm not going to go no lower than an 8 for STAROPRAMEN, because the quality is there. Like I say, it's just the taste is not quite doing it for me, and I'm enjoying the Stella more. I've got to be honest. So I'll put the Stella up to say like an 8.3. The Stella Unfiltered. I keep that an 8. Whichever one of these you decide to drink, they're definitely 2 of the better options that you can pick up in the UK for me, definitely. But for me, if I fancy a lager, I'll probably just go with Pilsner Quell over both of these, got to be honest. But if I fancy something a bit unfiltered, out of these 2, I would go for this one. As I say, there's not really a place for this for me. If I want something similar to this, I'll just go and get a bottle of Frankie. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Let me know your thoughts and your thoughts on my thoughts about these two beers and your individual thoughts about these two beers, what you prefer in that. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know some other beer battles you'd like to see. Pick a couple of beers that you'd like to see go up against each other, and I'll try and do it for you guys if I can. Till next one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye, darlings.